Hey, what's up guys? Impulse7 here, and today I am bringing you guys another video, and this video, I already messed up the intro. Anyway, we're here in the same Tales tier list that we've been filling out for the past almost, like, 15, 16 months or so, and I am once again joined by Shadow Libra. Say hello.
Hey guys!
Hello.
Decided to rank the last, Tales stories.
Yes. So, I have his volume turned up a little bit more than usual. I feel like maybe it's too loud now, so I'm going to turn it back down just a little bit. But if for this, this is actually the last ranking, right? Because we've already ranked all the other stories. There's no need to do a video ranking every single story because we've already ranked them all. So in this video, we're just going to rank the last 4 stories, the last 3 main stories in the epilogue from Tales Book 8. So that's what we're going to be doing today, which is what I already just said. Anyway, before we do that, I do want to rearrange my tier list just a little bit because there's some things I want to change. So far, though, well, just overall, what are your thoughts on the Tales from the Beast series?
It was a pretty good series. That's really all I gotta say.
Oh, okay. Well, I agree. I think it was very good. I think I liked it better than Phasma Frights, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't, that Phasma Frights was bad. It just means that because this one was shorter, there was less opportunity for the later stories to go completely wild. Some of them did, but I think that because of just how wild the last few stories in Frights were, there are a few more bad stories than there are in Tales. I think there's only 2 bad stories in all of Tales outside of the epilogues, and like we'll talk about one of them today. But I think that overall the series has been better than Phasma Frights just because there was more hits than misses, and there were more misses in Frights, I think, than there were in Tales. But
The thing with like ranking, like I feel like I always have to justify just because a story is like lower on the list doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means I like the other stories more.
for the most part, I agree. Yeah, I think that like I said, there's only 2 Tales stories that I do think are bad, but that's not saying that much. Like some of them are in
Epilogues for me.
Huh?
For me, it's 3 if you count like all the epilogues as one story.
Yeah, I think 3 as well, but I think that there's D tier right here. That's pretty bad. I mean, not very good and bad are 2 separate tiers, but not very good does kind of count as bad. But C tier, that's like the lowest besides the actual bad stories. C is the lowest, and there's only a few stories in it, and as we go up in the tiers, there's more in each higher tier, which I think is like really telling of how good the series is. And I think it's just like the epilogues in general were like what brought some of the series down a little bit, but not really by enough that it made too much of a difference on the series as a whole. But what I do want to say is that I think I ranked the first 2 epilogues a little too high, especially 3. I do think 3 is my favorite epilogue, but a lot of people don't like it. I do still, and I think it is still S tier, and same with 1. But I do want to move them down a little bit, probably to around probably here. I think Somnophobia is my favorite story.
Looking at this, do we really not put a single story in E or F tier?
Nope, not yet. Alright, anyway. That was, awkward silence. I think B-7, I want to move up to S tier.
Yeah.
But that's because I appreciate the story itself more now that we have B-7 too.
There are a lot in S, what the heck?
There are a lot in S. There's less in A now. But there will be more in A. But, I think that's all the changes that I want to make. I don't think there's really anything else that I want to change for the most part. I'll move Dittophobia up a little bit. Dittophobia is a good story. I think I had it just a little bit too low, but still in B tier. And I think that's just about everything I want to change. So... Huh?
Honestly, I'd probably move Haps to E.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, I think we should get started on the actual stories of this book. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, we should actually see what the video's about.
Yeah, that's true. We should. So, B7 too. What are your thoughts on B7 too?
It was terrible. Like, okay, it was a very unnecessary sequel. Like, nothing happened.
I agree. I just think that...
Like, I don't see the point of it.
Yeah, I mean, the happy ending is kind of cool, but I feel like everything leading up to the happy ending was terrible. Like,
Literally.
I talked in my summary video about how I really didn't like it, and a lot of people actually did like it in the comments, and I can see why, but I personally don't like it just because B7-1 is just so good, such a good story, and I feel like the ending of it was pretty much perfect for the story it was telling. And I feel like B7-2 just kind of ruins it a little bit, and it makes me kind of appreciate the first one more, like I said, just because the first one is so much better than this one. So,
Yeah, the first one was amazing.
yeah, B7-1 was a great story. I loved just the whole concept of it, and how it built up and how it got even worse over time. And B7-2 kind of makes it like the B7-1 isn't supernatural at all, and I feel like it kind of was standalone.
Oh wait, you said 1.
Yeah, 1. B7-1 was mostly standalone, and obviously it had like lore connections and stuff, but it was standalone as a story, and it didn't really connect to too much else in Tales, if anything. But and like I said, it wasn't supernatural at all. But B7-2, I feel like kind of makes it supernatural unnecessarily, and I feel like the story just overall is really unnecessary. I also think that the grandma was like... I think the grandma was kind of based in how much, like, she cared about Billy to, like, kill herself in order to, like, make sure that Billy doesn't become B7 again. But I just feel like B7 being sentient and, like, an agony creature now was just stupid and unnecessary. Because, like, I know that Billy did, like... I know that you can create agony from, like, just... even if you're still alive, but I feel like it was kind of unnecessary just to have Billy's, like, just to have B7 come alive anyway, because Billy's story, I feel like, should have been over already. So...
I feel like, and you can cut this out of the video if you want, but I feel like
I won't.
it was just, like, quickly responding to, like, the controversies that the first story had.
I feel like it... I don't really think so, because I feel like this was probably written before the story even came out, before the first story even came out, because they were written quite a while ago. But, like, the story was really controversial, the original one, and I kind of see it, but at the same time, it's been confirmed that that wasn't the intention, but people still think that it was. I kind of do want to make a video about it. I feel like I should make it clear that, like, I'm on, like, the positive side, not the negative side, but, like... on both matters, though. Like, I don't think it was an allegory, but I'm cool with what people think it was an allegory for. Like, I don't know why I'm sugarcoating it. I'm cool with transgenderism. If you're trans, I like you. You're cool. But, like...
I don't think it was an allegory, but I can kind of...
Yeah, I can see kind of... Yeah, I can see kind of what the basis was, but I know that that's not what the story was about. That wasn't the intention. So I feel like B7-2, there's still some people that think that it was. And I don't know why, but anyway, B7, it's weird to see how it contrasts with B7 at the top and B7-2 right at the bottom and being the only story right at the bottom. But yeah. It's unfortunate. Like, I feel like the story could have been good, but it didn't have to exist at all, and it's, like, it's not a good thing that it did. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Alone Together. What do you think about Alone Together, Libra?
I actually love this story.
Me too. I think it was really good.
It actually gave us a lot of info on, like, the supernatural and how, like,
it did.
Work.
Yeah, I really like the lore provided.
I really liked the story in general of him thinking he's, like, trying to help a ghost and finding out who was the ghost the whole time.
Yeah. I think...
It sounded pretty cool.
I think the story is mostly... It's like a combination between Find Player 2 and Coming Home, and it manages to be better than both of them, in my opinion. Feel free to at me on that if you disagree, but I think...
I like it.
I think... it either belongs top of A or bottom of S. I don't know where to put it. I think
I'd put it in A.
I think I'd put it in A too. But I think that the one thing that I wasn't really a huge fan of was what was her name? Marissa. I didn't really like her that much because I feel like she didn't really add anything to the story. Because like the idea that they were trying to get across there was kind of already emulated by Travis, sorry, not Trevor, Travis, by Travis's dad. I feel like the idea that they were going for Marissa kind of like was already emulated by Travis's dad, and I feel like Marissa didn't really add anything because the idea is just that Travis is haunting his school and his dad, right? And it's already shown that his dad can like feel his presence. I feel like if they just made it so that maybe he could actually see Travis, but thought that he was just like hallucinating, that would make it like kind of more emotional in a way. And I feel like it would have just made it a little bit better, and Marissa just could have just been cut from the story because I don't think she really added too much. But maybe it could have been worse if what I'm saying did happen. But I feel like just based on the concept makes more sense in what I'm saying. But that's just my opinion.
The one together actually reminded me of this movie called The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, people said that. I haven't watched the movie, but I do have it on my list of stuff to watch, and I've heard it's good. But apparently, like, the main character or something is actually dead or something like that. Is that kind of like the main idea?
Yeah, he's dead like the entire movie.
Yeah, Bruce Willis, right? That's who played the main character? Yeah. You know
what? They literally show him get shot at the start, and yet we're still surprised.
Yeah. The funny thing is that the reason that I know about that twist and wasn't really surprised when I heard about this story being similar to it was because in a song by I don't know if I should say who because it's kind of have you ever heard of The Lonely Island? No? Do you know Andy Samberg?
No.
No? Really? Have you ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Wait, that one I've heard of. That one I know.
He was one of the characters in that. I forgot his name in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I know he's in it. I haven't watched the show except like when it was randomly on TV. Anyway, he and a couple other people, like, they had like their own band of really sus songs. And in one of their songs, they talk about how should I put this? They constantly show their excitement a little too much. In a very sus way. And they basically say in the song that when Bruce Willis was dead at the end of Sixth Sense, and then they say the title of the song, basically. That's the most context I will give you. You can try to find the song yourself, or if you already know about it, if you're watching this video and you already know the song, then, yeah. That's the reason that that's the funny reason why I was not surprised by learning the twist of The Sixth Sense. I probably would have been, like, relatively surprised if I'd watched the movie before reading this story, but, I'm not hugely surprised now, but I won't be hugely surprised now when I watch it, but it's okay. Anyway, we went a little bit off track, but I think that the Alone Together twist, like, it was similar to Sixth Sense, as you and other people said, but I feel like the kind of twist that it was, how it was like at the end of the story, it wraps up basically everything and explains everything that happened in the story. It reminded me of the Saw movies, which I said in my summary, and I actually put it in the title of my summary, that it was a Saw-level twist. I feel like it was kind of like a similar type of twist. Obviously, nothing like that happens in the Saw movies. I just watched all the Saw movies like in a row because the new one came out, and I haven't watched the new one yet, but I watched all the first 9. But yeah, 9. Jesus Christ. But yeah, this kind of just it seemed like a type of twist that a Saw movie would have, like in the way that it's presented. Not like the actual contents of the twist, but just the way that it's presented in the story. It kind of just reminded me of that. So, yeah, that's Alone Together, A tier. So, now for the one that's been talked about more than any story besides probably just, like, The Mimic. and maybe GGY, maybe more than GGY actually. Dittophobia. Yeah, Dittophobia.
I feel like everyone jumped on the train of like, oh my gosh, it's FNAF 4! It's FNAF 4! While it did answer questions, I wouldn't say it solved all of FNAF 4.
Yeah, I feel like
that's a hot take.
it solves part of the gameplay of FNAF 4. But Alone Together solves more of FNAF 4 too. Like, they basically both explain, like, two different sides of FNAF 4, I think. And if you combine both the stories together, then you can solve basically the gameplay of FNAF 4 for the most part. But I do think that this story was just a tiny bit overhyped, but it still was a really good story. And when I say overhyped, I mean the lore in it. The lore was a little bit overhyped. But the story itself, I think, was really good. I think would you put it in an S tier? I don't know. I feel like it's, again, A or S.
A, probably lower S, IA.
Yeah, honestly. I'm trying to think, do I actually like it more than Alone Together? I honestly don't know if I do, because I think the one thing about this story is that while it does provide a lot of lore, and some stuff happens that's obviously very interesting, and it's an entertaining read, but not too much actually happens in the story, and I feel like it drags just a little bit. Like, maybe it could have been shortened by like 10 to 20 pages, and it still would have made sense and would have been a good story, and just would have been a little bit more... just slightly, like, I don't want to say simplified, but just, like, it would just be a little bit more entertaining if it was just a little bit shorter and more, and there was, like, slightly, not more action, but more condensed action.
Like
so
90% of it was just Rory walking around Sister Location.
A little bit, yeah. I do think it was a really good story, though. I don't know whether I'd put it above or below Alone Together. I think I would put it in A, not S, but I don't know whether above or below Alone Together. It's kind of tough.
What do you think the Fredbear plush is? This is related to Ditto, by the way.
Is it because of the Wade thing? Because I don't think Wade is William, honestly.
I feel like I think
he could be. I just don't think that he is, because Wade's whole thing is about, like, telling Rory, oh my god, your life is so cool, I can't wait to have you back. And then William, like, there's a tape with where William says, your life sucks, stay here. I feel like they have, like, contradictory goals. But...
okay, that's true.
But, I mean, with that being said, it could just be that Wade is trying to tell him, oh my god, you have such a good life, you gotta get out of here, here's how. So he's getting him to go to the generator in order to escape, but I don't know if that, like, that could make sense, but I'm not sure if it makes if it entirely makes sense. I feel like this story, Wade could be the William, and William could be the Fredbear plushie, but I don't think that this story necessarily proves that. But I do think it's possible. But I think, I don't know, it's honestly really hard whether I like it before, better or more. I just said better or more. More or less than Alone Together. I feel like I might too. I feel like Alone Together was more enjoyable of a story, but Dittophobia was more interesting. For the most part. Both were really interesting, but I think Dittophobia was more interesting. But I feel like Alone Together might have been more entertaining. So I think I'd put Dittophobia right there. I feel like people are going to get mad at us. At me specifically for not putting Dittophobia in S tier, but that's my opinion.
Decision. Get mad at me too.
Okay, they will get mad at you too. I hope you understand that. No. Epilogue 8. All right, what are our thoughts on Epilogue 8?
It was okay.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was
It was alright.
Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. It was fine.
It's like there.
It exists.
Alright guys, that's the end of this video. No, no, I'm just kidding.
You put it higher than I thought you would, actually.
Yeah, I think it was a good epilogue, but it wasn't. It was a good conclusion to the epilogues as they were. I think I said this well in my epilogue summary. It was a good conclusion to the epilogues as they were, but the epilogues themselves should have been better. You know what I mean? I feel
Yeah.
like I would put the epilogues as a whole in like D tier, which is lower than all of the epilogues, all of the other epilogues except Epilogue 5. I like the idea of the epilogues less than I like the actual epilogues themselves. I like the collective story of the epilogues less than I like the epilogues. I think the story overall is fine, but it just drags way too much, and it's not good for the epilogues. It should have just been like one story that was like condensed by a lot. I feel like that's how it could have been better, but it just wasn't like that. So
Yeah.
that's what I think. So I think that's everything there is to talk about. Is that everything?
I guess.
All right.
Are you happy with where all the stories are on the tier list?
I think I am. Yeah. 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 Anyway, actually, I'll move Animatronic Apocalypse down a little bit. I'll put it down like here. It wasn't a bad story, but it's not as good as I don't think it's as good as I thought it was back when I actually first read it. But yeah, that's the story. Sorry, that's the tier list.
All right. Well,
We're
this is
done.
Weird because we've been doing this for like over a year.
Yeah, we have been doing it for a long time. And now we're not anymore.
So sad.
It is kind of sad. Well, that's the end of this tier list, guys. That's the end of the Tales from the Pizzaplex tier list. Let me know what you guys think of our probably controversial opinions in the comments down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe if you want to. And then subscribe to Libra too. He hasn't uploaded in a long time, but he's going to at some point, right?
At some point in the future.
Yeah, one day. So
One day it'll happen.
it will. One day. Certainly. So let's end the video now. We're
Thank you all.
this video is a little bit scuffed, but it's okay. It's just a little bit scuffed. I don't usually edit these outside of like the beginning cutout, the ending cutout, and the and music in the background. That's usually just about everything that I do for these videos. So you guys are gonna have to listen to all our scuffed conversations. But yeah, that's it.
That'd be it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do outros.
Me neither. Been doing this for almost 4 years. Still don't know. Still not very good at it. Yeah. Well, I know how to. It's just for videos like these, it's a little bit more challenging.
Wait, are you recording?
Yes, I'm recording.
You are dragging this out.
I am. Yeah. More ads. Just kidding. Yeah. Let's just like abruptly end the